Hello everyone, my name is Michele Campagna. I'm a professor of special planning and geodesign at the University of Cagliari in Sardinia, Italy. Since I met Professor Steinitz about 10 years ago, I started learning from him the geodesign methodology he developed along his long career at Harvard GSD, and I'm very grateful to him for generously sharing his knowledge and experience. So, in the last decade, I ran many geodesign studies. Back in 2016, Professor Steinitz was a visiting professor at the University of Cagliari, and we ran together the first geodesign study on the metropolitan city of Cagliari. We used Geodesign Hub, which was developed at that time by Dr. Rishi Balal as a web-based planning support system on the base of the Steinitz Geodesign framework. To support a geodesign workshop, which was very successful indeed. That was a research study to investigate opportunities for sustainable development in the area, which was recently established back then. In the following year, I used the same case study in my studio classes with students of civil engineering and architecture. We used the IGC standard, and the learning curve by students was extremely positive. The first experience demonstrated the potential of applying the geodesign methodology and geodesign workshop for design and planning and design research and teaching. In the following year, Castains and I used again the same study area in a number of workshops to introduce educators to the geodesign approach. Hundreds of faculty attended our workshop we organized within the IGC or a satellite event of conferences such as DLA, actually. During the pandemic, Carl and I ran a number of workshops fully online using Geodesign Hub and Zoom together. So the first years of experience demonstrated how powerful and effective geodesign can be in design research and teaching. In many workshops, we had participants from the public administration and professional planner. Still, I was not sure until a few years ago how far geodesign could go in support local communities to shape their future in the planning practice, when stakes and conflict are potentially very, very high. I would argue the answer is yes. Geodesign is effective in the planning practice as much as it is in research and teaching, and I will support this thesis analyzing in comparison two recent case studies I developed in the real planning battlefield. In 2019, I was invited by the municipality of Oristano in Sardinia to organize a geodesign workshop. Their need was to develop consensus among 5 municipalities on how to collaborate to achieve sustainable tourism development in the Oristano Gulf area. I ran the workshop with Vicente Moles, an international expert in tourism who previously worked together with Stephen Irving on the same region within his course on sustainable tourism at the Harvard Extension School. We also invited stakeholders from the local community, not without initial criticism, as they were not used actually to create a constructive dialogue and collaborate with public administrations. Municipalities and other teams of stakeholders developed their design synthesis, they negotiated, they agreed on a final design. In 2021, I ran a second geodesign workshop, which was even more challenging. I knew the area from the previous study, the metropolitan city of Cagliari, and this helped us substantially. This time, 17 municipalities attended a fully digital online workshop with Geodesign and Zoom. This was during the pandemic. In 4 plenary sessions on Zoom, each 3 hours long, the 17 municipalities managed to define a common scenario based on consensus. The municipalities started developing their design locally, and then they expanded their design at the metropolitan scale, developing new perspective while collaborating and learning from each other. A final agreed scenario was adopted and development priorities were agreed. The results of the workshop were eventually included in the final plan, which was adopted by the higher level of government, the Metropolitan Council, in July 2021. The municipalities have their voice heard in the making of the Metropolitan Strategic Plan, which was not a result to be necessarily taken for granted in advance. A post-workshop survey showed overall great appreciation for the new way of working, for the learning experience, for the design result. And also for the user friendliness of the tools which were used. Again, Geodesign Hub platform. The details of the two cases in comparison are given in the paper. I would say here, in synthesis, that the Geodesign workshop, both in present and online, was very successful and above expectation, also in the planning practice. So to conclude, Geodesign is definitely ready to innovate in the planning practice, at least in Italy, and to help to address current sustainability complex challenges. Thank you very much for your kind attention.